She's too sensitive for the real world anyway. Someone had to tell her eventually. Marcus said that at my cousin Dana's wedding reception, in front of 34 people, while my own mother laughed into her champagne glass. My name is Priya Mehta. I'm 26 years old. This is the story of how I became someone Marcus no longer recognizes, and how that became the most expensive mistake he ever made. I grew up in a 2-story colonial in Clarksville, Ohio, where the driveway was always freshly sealed, and the hydrangeas were always a little too blue. My mother, Renata, ran the house like a performance review. My father, Gerald, traveled for work and came home tired enough to agree with whoever spoke last. There was my sister Camille, 4 years older, who could do no wrong not because she was exceptional, but because she had learned early how to be agreeable. And then there was me. I was the one who asked questions at dinner. I was the one who noticed when the numbers on the household accounts didn't line up. I was the one who, at 19, pointed out to my mother that the contractor she'd hired to renovate the kitchen had overcharged her by $6,400. She did not thank me. She said I was embarrassing. Marcus Holt entered our family orbit when I was 22. He was Camille's boyfriend, then fiancé, then, for 18 months, her husband. He was 34, wore linen in every season, and had the particular confidence of a man who had never been seriously contradicted. My mother adored him. He called her Renata in a way that made her stand up straighter. He did not adore me. The first time, I let it go. We were at my parents' house for Sunday dinner, the kind with the good china, and the centerpiece nobody touches. My mother had asked me about my job at the architecture firm, where I'd been working for 8 months as a junior designer. Before I could answer, Marcus turned to Gerald and said, "Priya's still in that drafting phase, right? The one where you trace other people's ideas and call it learning." Gerald laughed. Camille refilled her water glass. I said something like that and passed the bread basket. The second time was harder to absorb. My grandmother's 75th birthday. 42 family members in my aunt's backyard in August, the smell of citronella candles and my uncle's overworked grill. I had brought a portfolio of sketches, a small residential project I had been given lead on, the first in my career. My grandmother asked to see them. She was holding my pages when Marcus leaned across the table and said, "Nana Rosa, don't get too attached. Priya changes direction every 6 months. Last year it was graphic design, right? Before that, what photography?" He said it warmly, like a joke. Like he knew me. I had studied architecture for 5 consecutive years. I had never done graphic design professionally. I had taken exactly 1 photography class in college as an elective. My grandmother looked at me over the top of the pages. She didn't say anything. Neither did I. The third time was in front of 34 people at Dana's wedding, and I've already told you what he said. What I have not told you is that 2 weeks before Dana's wedding, I had submitted a proposal to Callaway Rice, one of the most respected mid-size firms in Columbus. I had been working on that proposal for 4 months. I had not told anyone in my family. Not because I was ashamed. Because I already knew the shape of their doubt, and I didn't want it near something I was still building. After the wedding, I drove home alone. I sat in my car in the parking structure for 11 minutes. I did not cry. I thought about what it would feel like in a year to still be someone Marcus felt comfortable dismissing in front of 34 people. I thought about how long I had been making myself smaller so that the room wouldn't notice the difference between my size and the space I'd been given. I decided I was done making that calculation. I called my friend Declan the next morning. Declan is a contract attorney who had been telling me for 2 years to document everything. I told him about the Callaway Rice proposal. I also told him something I had been sitting on for 6 months, that Marcus had, on 2 separate occasions, taken client referrals from his wife's family contacts and routed them to his own private consulting work, bypassing the firm he was employed by. I had seen the emails. I had seen them because Camille had forwarded me one by accident and then asked me to delete it. I hadn't deleted it. Declan said, "Forward me everything you have." I sent him a folder containing 14 emails, 2 PDF invoices totaling $43,000 in redirected client revenue, and a screenshot of a text message in which Marcus explicitly referenced keeping the arrangement off Camille's radar. Declan said, "This is a breach of fiduciary duty. His employer would be very interested in this." I said, "I know. I just needed to hear it from someone else first." The call from Callaway Rice came on a Thursday afternoon in late October. They were offering me a junior associate position with a starting salary of $79,500 and a named credit on a mixed-use development project in downtown Columbus. I accepted before the sentence was finished. My mother's birthday dinner was 3 weeks later. 40 guests. The same dining room, the same catered trays, the same hydrangeas cut now, in a crystal vase on the credenza. Marcus was there. Camille was there. Gerald was there, holding a glass of red wine and looking comfortable. My mother announced the evening's news in the order she'd assigned it importance. Camille and Marcus had put an offer on a house. My cousin had gotten a promotion. Then my mother said, "And Priya has some news," in the tone she reserved for participation trophies. I said I had accepted a position at Callaway Rice. I gave the project name. I gave the salary. I said it the same way I would have read coordinates off a map. The room was quiet for a moment. Marcus set down his fork. It made a small sound against the china. That was his entire reaction. One small sound. Declan sent a certified letter to Marcus's employer the following Monday. By the end of November, Marcus had been terminated. The $43,000 in redirected revenue became the subject of a civil proceeding. Camille filed for separation in January. My mother called me in February. She asked if I had known about Declan's letter before I sent it. I told her I had known about it since October. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "You could have come to us first." I said, "I did come to you. 4 years. You were busy laughing." She did not apologize. I did not need her to. My father sent me a text the following week. It said, "I'm sorry it took me this long to see it. I have read it many times. It is enough." That was 14 months ago. I work 41 floors above Columbus now. I have a nameplate. I have a project. I have a desk that faces east and gets the morning light. I lost the version of myself who believed that staying quiet was the same as being dignified. I lost the habit of making myself easy to underestimate. I lost the particular exhaustion of waiting for a room full of people to finally see you and accepting, quietly, when they didn't. What I gained is harder to name but easier to carry. It is something like the knowledge that I was never waiting for permission. I was only waiting to stop asking for it. I didn't break. I returned different. And different was always the point.